So I'll move on to pros. So first, the license package. So in Indiana, we purchased the office package to give us several different licenses since we're working on two different projects with North Split and I-69. What's helpful about that is we have transferable license. So if somebody leaves the project and goes somewhere else, we can transfer their license to the new person that's replacing them. That's a huge added benefit, so you don't lose that cost. Also, OnStation provides customer service, 24/7 support. I can say that from experience. I know Dave and Patrick, the CEO, have both received very late night emails and early morning phone calls from me about issues that may have arisen in the field, and they have dealt with them very timely. Within one day, we typically get our problem solved unless it's something larger than that. But overall, they've done a good job at having that customer support and service. Onboarding and training is something they also offer. They've come here and done presentations for us on I-69. They're about ready to do another one at the end of this month for some of our sub-consultants. And they're always there to train us and onboard us so we're not having to do it ourselves or learn on the fly. Office use, one of the big things I use from the management side is I'll get in and look at the design layers. I'll pull it up like the image on the right and kind of see what's coming up and where things are going. It gives you a better perspective of just standing out in the field and going, I think the bridge goes there. And looking at plans, and it just orients you, which is very nice to have your bearings and use it in the office to kind of deal with conflicts, talk to the designer, do Q&As between the contractor and your clients, and also help your staff learn about the project. It's quick and easy. So OnStation is super user friendly. It gives you instant stationings, exact locations, plus or minus 2 to 5 feet. You have all the tracking functions from the measurements to the photos to the chat functionality, and it's project data at your fingertips. And it's easy to say, well, I have this app on my phone, but what does it do for me? OnStation is proven to do things for us that have sped up time, efficiency, effectiveness, and we've been using it more and more every year that we've had it. And then again, project additions. I talked about looking at nearby projects, but you can also add projects to OnStation. So if I leave I-69 and I happen to go on an on-call with NDOT, I can say, hey, Patrick, here's my XML file, or here, Dave, here's my CAD files, and they will add it, and it'll be up and running in OnStation typically in less than a week, and I can be off and have the construction engineering of my job right then and there, not worrying about my contractor trying to set their lath or do their construction engineering or any type of that, which we know has been lackluster on projects in recent years. Identifying conflicts, this kind of goes hand in hand with office use, but also field use. So you can turn on and off those design files depending on how many layers or how many files that you submitted to be put into OnStation. You can turn off your roadway and turn on your right of way, or to deal with a problem with a property owner, or you can put on your roadway alignment to see what aspects of construction are coming next. And this allows for upfront communication between all parties, property owners, clients, contractors, consultants. Everybody's kind of dealing with the same issues, seeing the same things, and having that cohesive conversation. I talked about time savings a little bit already, but OnStation has saved us a lot of time, especially from just location aspects of the field. You're not having to search through your plans. You're not guessing. You're not walking an undetermined distance to find any markings. You're not waiting on surveyors. It's right there. You open your phone, you can proceed with inspection and move forward. We've used this tool to familiarize our new staff as well. When somebody comes onto the job, obviously we give them their standard drawings, their plan sets, their spec books, but we also give them access to OnStation, and we say, go on site, turn on this application and get your bearings, understand where things are going, what work you're watching, where you're stationed out on the job. And it just gives them just that aspect of knowing where they are and understanding their surroundings. Material testing and tracking is another big thing. I talked about HMA sampling. We're using that a lot to track our plates and core samples and make sure all of our testing is documented well and accurately. And then finally, features for switching alignment. So let's use paving as an example then. You're paving I-69 main line and you're going to veer off on one of your overpass ramps. Well, you can switch from that main line alignment to the ramp alignment to ensure that you have the proper stationing whenever you're documenting on your tickets and your daily reports, your testing, any of that. Centralized connectivity. I've talked about this a few times. There's multiple party coordination, whether it's the client, the consultant, the contractor. We're all having these conversations within OnStation. It's all in one app. There's no multiple emails. There's no forgetting to CC someone. There's no phone call records. There's no text messages or, oh, I gave a piece of paper to that guy on his desk. It's all in one place, and you're having that centralized connectivity between multiple parties. Field engineering is a big thing where you can pull up those design layers, you can look at your alignment, and if you need to move something 2 feet, you can put that in the chat functionality and track that in your documents. You can also look to see where your right-of-way is and where things are supposed to fall in your plans and adjust accordingly. Q&A with contractors and clients. This has been big with our contractor. We can have conversations in the field and not have to resort to opening our laptop or digging through multiple design unit sets of plans. Nearby projects are also helpful to look at and to see if anything nearby is nearby you that you may be utilizing. And then pay item integration. This is relatively new to OnStation. We haven't started using this on the design build jobs just because they're so large and we have a ton of pay items. But pay item integration could be crucial in any of the measurements you're doing, documentation of folders to set flags in order to identify things. I think that's a huge pro that OnStation is starting to apply to their application. Exporting is another big thing. Dave showed you guys the web-based dashboard. So all of this information is going into this application, and eventually you're going to want to export it or have some sort of record of it to put in your final construction record, for example. And so you can do that through OnStation's dashboard. You can export all that back in documentation and provide that to the owner. And lastly, safety. Safety is a big thing. We all want to go home at night. And what OnStation provides you is your location device in your hand. You're not having to climb down a ditch line to see if you can find a lap or run across live traffic to see what the marking is on the barrier wall. It's in your hand. You're following your paving crew, for example, and it's right then and there, and you're not worried about getting hit by a car or falling down a ditch. I talked about safety. I do want to highlight we do have night paving work on this job. We have night work in general, and OnStation's just been super helpful from a safety aspect of being able to stay with that crew, stay with that light plant. You don't have to walk in pitch black and try to find any of your stationing. You're not having to open your plans and hold your flashlight. It's right at your fingertips. Your phone is bright and you can see it. And that's been crucial during night work operations. Great. So now I'm going to move on to cons. I will say it was quite difficult to come up with some cons for OnStation because we have had so much positive feedback. But with technology, there are issues. So with that being said, the app, when it first developed, it was contractor focused. OnStation is starting to work on becoming more client and consultant focused, but a lot of it does feed to contractors, paving contractors with their e-ticketing and things of that nature. We've also had issues with loading the application. I know in the past, some people have opened the map and it just takes forever to load or it won't load, so they have to close the app and reopen it. I had an issue the other day where I went to go click on my project and the app just abruptly closed on me. So that's some issues we ran into. We've also seen some issues on multiple devices. So when you purchase a license, each person that has a license gets to use the application on up to 2 devices. So that's, let's say, a phone and a tablet. We've had some instances where people will be on their tablet and they go to try to get on their phone as well, and their phone will say system error because it's not reading both of those licenses. And another issue we've had is between Apple and Android. Their softwares have had some glitches where, let's say we do a software update or a design update, it might work on Android, but Apple's having issues getting everything to load. In the past, when we first started using this on 69 back in 2021, we had a situation where we were having a chat among multiple users. Someone with an Apple product tried to chat me with an Android and I couldn't see it. All Apple people could see it, but not all Android users. OnStation has addressed that, and I don't believe it's reoccurred since then. Design updates have been a little finicky for us, and that may be specific to design build jobs, but with our alignment references, because we have so many alignments, there's a locking feature that typically can lock you in to that alignment. However, if you're within close proximity of another line, it will sometimes trip off, and then you could end up on a different alignment and get inaccurate readings or inaccurate documentation. Also, there's a lot of multiple files and overlap. Sometimes those files will be so close together that it'll seem like you're on one line, but you're really on another. We've had a situation on 69, for example, where we have 2 mainline line A's. One goes ascending station, the other going descending station. And so you need to make sure you're on the correct line based on your reference of plan so that you're documenting your project correctly. That's something that OnStation's aware of and currently trying to address. And finally, the field determination of errors. What I mean by that is sometimes you have to be reactive rather than proactive. You'll be out in the field and you'll go start to do a bridge deck pour. You'll open up the OnStation app and realize, oh, I don't have man road bridge in my alignments. Well, that's not helpful. or we've had a situation where we were paving one ramp, hopped off, got on another, and realized we had the entrance ramp, but not the exit ramp in the application. And so that kind of defeats the purpose of effectiveness and efficiency. You put the app down and have to open your plans, get out your wheel, and go back to the old school methodology. Another con for us here in Indiana is it's not backed by NDOT, so this is a cost to HNTB. I will say we are willing to absorb that cost as the pros do outweigh the cons with this application, but it would be nice if the DOT did support it and backed it as well on future jobs moving forward. And it's one of many tools. As most of you know, construction technology is on an upswing in our industry. I can say for both I-69 and North Split, we probably have 5 different tools or applications or softwares or databases that we use on projects. And so it would be nice if OnStation had more capabilities, which they're starting to do in 2023. Dave mentioned this, but having ability to track lists, whether it's punch list items, for example, assets. NDOT's very big about new projects collecting their assets and doing asset management for prolonged projects. And so that's something that would be useful. And then also post-construction maintenance. It's big with the DOT. Finally, education and use. This is just a general technology con. You've got to educate your people. You can buy the product for them, but then they have to use it. You know, it's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And so having people be aware of the technology, be educated on it, and then actually implement it. Those are some cons. There's been some difficulties. Some people just really like their hard copy plans and their hard copy field book, and they want to stick to that, but we're hoping to integrate that moving forward. All in all, I can say OnStation has already started a lot of the progress on dealing with these or addressing with these cons. They've done a lot of innovation starting in 2023 moving forward. They're integrating and collaborating with other software applications. They're becoming more cohesive, and they're trying to be that end-to-end solution for roadway location tools.